everybody. Today we are going to check out the Euphree City Robin X. So let's get into it. Oh. What was that? There's a bug. There's a fly car.
That's what happens when you film on the farm. Before we talk about everything that's new on the City Robin X, if you are looking to purchase an electric bike from Euphree, just to note, you can get a free lock, and that also helps support Ebike Escape, so we really appreciate your support. You can use code Ebike Escape at checkout, or you can call them directly. Just tell them Ebike Escape sent you, and they'll be able to hook you up as well. As always, we'll also throw our other resources down in the description as well, our electric bike accessories list, top e-bike brands page, and of course our electric bike discounts code page, where we track all the deals on the electric bike brands that we follow. With that, we're back with Jamie. It was raining. It seems like every time we do these videos, it rains, but we're very excited to check out the City Robin X. You'll actually note we have two of the City Robin models. We have the old version and then the brand new City Robin X, just released towards the fall of 2022. Instead of offering a bunch of different electric bikes, Euphree has really doubled down on the City Robin, kind of improving it over time. Obviously, it's a step-through electric bike, which is really great for accessibility. Comes in 4 different colors. We have the emerald green, which is my personal favorite. We have the rebel blue here, probably my second favorite. And then they also have pearl white and midnight black if you prefer. So 4 different colors, but the frames are all the same. And of course, we're back here with Jamie. She is our dedicated range tester. So she's going to talk about range, but also talk about what she thinks about this bike from a commuter's perspective, given that she did spend a bunch of time riding it. Before we talk about the other specs, I really want to highlight the changes with the City Robin X, the newest version. Let's start up here in the front. I'm very curious what you think. This is the largest front light I think I've ever seen. Well, I guess some moped style electric bikes, but I think this is brighter than any other electric bike that I've personally seen.
Well, you can see compared to the old one, I mean, you don't even have to get close up to see how much bigger and brighter this light is.
So this light is advertised as a 100 lux light, and of course mounted to the handlebars, so when you move them, it's going to move the handlebars. So this is maybe one of the first lights on any electric bike that I've reviewed where I wouldn't say if you're using it for commuting, riding at night, maybe you don't even need a secondary. In fact, you probably don't, because this light is so bright.
It's a pretty impressive light. I did take it out last night, actually. If you can tell, we live in the country, a little bit off from the city, and it was definitely bright enough. It was pitch dark. There was not a moon last night. Got to see lots of stars. The light's kind of cool because most of the illumination comes out in front where you want to see where you're going, but then there's a thin strip of light that kind of comes right here so you can see something that you're about to roll over, which was helpful.
Nice.
And then it does have the integrated tail lights that get brighter with brakes, so that's helpful.
Another change that they've made is they've really thought about the cable management. Some of the nicest cable management I've seen, maybe with the exception of the Serial 1 bikes where the cables actually go into the handlebars.
If you look at this other one, the cables are a little bit looser, they're bulkier, they're easier for things to get caught on. Right here, it comes right into the center. Nothing's out in the wind, a lot less to get caught on, looks a lot cleaner.
Yeah, and the cables come in right beneath that adjustable stem. And of course, we have the front basket here. So if you added the front basket here, no issues with those cables coming in contact with it. Another small change is they did add a second set of bottle cage bosses on the seat tube there. Additional storage space for perhaps a folding lock or an additional water bottle. The other thing they did is they changed the torque of the motor. So now it is a torquier motor. So it should have more power for going up hills.
Yeah, I did take it up quite a few hills on the commute. Didn't have a problem. Not the most powerful bike that I've commuted on, but certainly gets me up the hills without difficulty. I think another thing that they adjusted, and I think this is along the same line, was how fast the acceleration curve was. And I would say this bike did not ever get away from me. Sometimes when you get on a new bike and you're not paying attention, you accidentally hit the throttle and it's like, boom, it's off before you're really ready. Did not happen on this one, which makes me a lot more confident in recommending it to people that might be a little bit less confident on their bike. I would be much more comfortable letting my mother, who's in her mid-60s, not a super experienced biker, get on something like this.
Yeah, and if it isn't immediately apparent that this is an accessible bike, that bleeds into the motor power and making sure that if you're hopping on this electric bike, you're not going to be jerked, which of course is really nice. There's not a lot of brands who think as carefully about the modulation between the pedal assist levels and of course how much power you're getting. This is a 500 watt sustained motor, 900 watts of peak power.
So one more change that they did make was they put on a connection for your phone. So you have to get a special case, and it's a pretty hardy looking case. Doesn't have a front cover, but it does have a little connector on the back, and then you just snap it in and it's right there, which is really great because then you can have your maps up. You can know if someone texts you. I usually commute to work. That's when I'm riding the bikes. I want to know if my coworkers have texted me anything that I need to know about. If you're riding someplace you don't know with the maps, I just think this is super helpful.
Yeah, and this is the SP Connect system. So you can purchase this case for whatever phone you own. But in my opinion, it's so great. I mean, for maps would be probably my primary use case.
Absolutely.
And if you watch our review videos, we use the speedometer app so you could have your speed front and center. You could track your ride using Strava. So pretty much anything you want to put on your phone. And that's nice for an electric bike that does have a smaller LCD screen on the side to have that option to have your phone right there. Not something I've seen any other electric bike brand do.
And this feels sturdy too. There was another phone connector that we had used in the past that the phone did go flying once or twice, but this one, it's staying where you put it.
Yep. And the mirrors don't come with this bike, but Euphree did go ahead and send us these mirrors, and these are a great addition, of course, safety-wise, just to be aware of your surroundings, what's happening behind you. Whether you want to purchase these or you want to check out our electric bike accessories list for some other options, it doesn't really matter what mirror you buy. Our end mirrors are probably going to be your best bet on this bike. And of course, you can buy them direct from Euphree if you'd like. Okay, next, maybe you want to talk about comfort on this electric bike because, of course, it does have quite a few features to make your ride comfortable.
Comfort and style.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty bike. It looks sophisticated. It's a good looking bike. When I see this bike, I always think about being in Europe. Now you're going to Europe soon, so maybe you can tell me if this is true, but it feels like someone should have a baguette in the back and like look nice and maybe along the river in Amsterdam or something. It feels like a nice bike. When I talk to my coworkers at work, I often think about this bike as being one that a lot of the girls that I work with would like because the step through, you don't have to worry about what you're wearing. You can get on, it's comfortable, and then all the different features that Euphree has put to make it feel nice to ride. The seat suspension, awesome. Having the seat suspension right in the post there. Just the fact that you can adjust the handlebars to go up and just exactly the way that you want them.
The swept-back handlebars.
Yep.
A lot of people do prefer the more upright riding position. Now, of course, we could bring these handlebars a little bit higher if you didn't want to be as forward-leaning. Just the customizability of that. And then, of course, the front suspension. I mean, they've really built this bike with the rider in mind. There's not really anything you need to purchase aftermarket except maybe a mirror for safety.
The light, I mean, that's helpful. Integrated lights, it's always nice to not have to put an external light on, have it charged right with the battery. Yep. So it's a pretty bike, it's a comfortable bike.
Yeah, this is meant to be a comfortable, whether you want to use it for commuting or cruising, things like that. We got the sun shining a little bit, getting a little bit better look at the more metallic paint job of this. And again, just some other comments about the brand. They are based in Houston, US-based support. They are still a relatively new brand, but one of the reasons we're featuring them on the channel is because I think it's a great bike for the price, and also I think the company has a bright future, and I think we'll continue to watch what Euphree does going forward, maybe announcing some new bikes, and I don't know what other improvements they could make to the city, Robin, but I don't know, maybe.
I think one example that I had when I was talking to the rep about what size, because, especially with women, when we're a little shorter, what bikes are going to fit. He had said the height on the lower end is around 5'3", but then he made some really good recommendations on how to make it easier as far as you could actually take. We love the suspension seat post, but you could take it out, and that gives you a couple extra inches to let you get that seat down and get comfortable. And, you know, he made a good point of saying, well, you know, how experienced of a rider are you? You know, how tall is your inseam? And he really seemed willing to work with people. I would say if you're on the shorter side and you're thinking about a bike, give them a call and see, and they can kind of talk you through it. Will this bike be a good fit for you?
Don't take our word for it. I mean, the company is there to answer any questions. Let's talk about commuting on the Euphree City Robin X.
So my commute, I usually take these just on my way to work and back. It's between 5 and 6 miles, about 350 feet of elevation gain on the way there and about 450 feet on the way back. So it's pretty hilly. I like to bike quite a bit. I feel like I have decent bike fitness, but I don't want to work hard on my way to work. That's one of the reasons that I want to take the e-bikes. I do not want to arrive to work sweaty. I do not want to have to wear workout clothes on my way to work and back. For the Euphree City Robin X, I was usually in pedal assist, 1, of course, for downhills or flats, maybe 2 or 3 on some of the lighter hills. On the steeper hills, I was up at pedal assist 4 or 5, and the City Robin X was still getting me up there at maybe 10 miles an hour, which I think is pretty good because some of these hills are pretty steep. Average speed over the course of the whole commute was between 12 and 14 miles per hour.
Any other features that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so doing range tests and riding these bikes until the batteries die. I'm always interested in seeing how much battery is left. On the Euphree City Robin X, it's got a percentage of battery, which is helpful rather than just the bars that go down. I thought when you're watching them, you don't want to get too hung up on it because they change pretty dramatically. If you're going up a hill versus down a hill, so dramatically. In fact, it'll go from 75% down to 25% and then back up, but it's still nice to get the number. Now, on this bike, when I was riding it to the very end until the battery died, it actually hit 0% for probably, I don't know, the last couple miles I was riding. It said 0%, but it was still providing good power. I mean, one of my biggest hills was within the last couple miles of my ride, and it was still taking me up this really big hill, saying it didn't have any battery left. It's kind of like, I don't know if you're this kind of driver, but I have definitely driven my car to where it says empty, and I'm not at the gas station yet. I felt like this bike did not let me down. I was at empty. It still kept me going.
And what about, did you find that you use the throttle a lot, the left-hand thumb throttle?
I never really use throttle a lot. I always, it's always nice to have there. It's usually if I'm trying to get out of a stoplight, if there's a car coming or something like that, I use it a couple times, but not much. It's nice that it's, I like the little throttle rather than the thumb twist because I'm not on the throttle for very long and it's really hard to accidentally hit it.
All right, I think we should talk about range again. This has a 14 amp hour battery. What did you get on your commute?
I got 37.2 miles.
37.2 miles, which seems above average compared to some of the other, more than I thought it would be. Usually we say double the amp hour, so 14 amp hour battery, 28 miles should be doable, but 37 miles is actually really impressive.
It was more than I thought. When I went out for the last day, what I assumed would be the last day of riding, I had my ride on standby. Get ready, you're probably gonna have to come pick me up because I didn't think it'd make it. And it was like an Energizer bunny, it just kept going. I hit 0, and then I get to the downhill again and the battery pops up again. It kept rolling. When I finally called it, it was going maybe 2 or 3 miles up a hill, not very fast, and then the battery flashed basically empty. It was like a screen that said, you know, warning, you're about to totally be done with your battery, and I was rolling into my garage, so it was perfect.
All right, that's the brand new City Robin X. Thanks to Jamie for taking it out and testing it out. Again, if you're looking to purchase one, they're currently priced at $20.99, and if you use eBike Escape, at checkout, you can get a free lock. It also helps support us. Otherwise, just give them a call. They'd be happy, more than happy, to help you out. Really nice to have a phone number and be able to have customer support as well. With that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.